Hey everybody, welcome back to another edition of My After School Toys Toy Review, and today we are talking about Kenner Silverhawks. And we're going to start off by looking at a packaged one I have here. This is Bluegrass in the package, so you can kind of get a basic look of what the packaging was like. On the back it's got all the other figures, and it's got the Mirage ship that Bluegrass drove. So anyways, that was kind of what the packaging was like, and we're going to quickly go through most of the figures today and check them out one by one. So let's start off with Quicksilver and Tallyhawk. This is Quicksilver. Get a close-up look of his face. He's very shiny. This one's in pretty good shape. Unfortunately, a lot of these figures, if you left them out in the sun, their metallic suit would flake off, but this one's in pretty good shape. If you squeeze his legs, his arms snap into action. He has a fabric cape here that buttons onto his back, as do all the Silverhawks. And this was his bird, Tallyhawk. Tallyhawk had a ram head grabbing feature, so if you rammed his head into somebody, his wings would close on them, like that. So that is Quicksilver with Tallyhawk. Very good. And then we're going to move on to Steelheart. Unfortunately, I don't have Steelheart's bird, but I do have Steelheart in pretty good condition here. She has the same wing action. Squeeze her legs, and she pops into action. There you go. And then we have her brother Steelwill, and his bird Stronghold. Steelwill was the muscle guy of the group. His wings also pop into action. Close up of his face. And then his bird Stronghold had a grabbing feature. If he squeezed his wings together, his legs would grab. He could carry a figure away. And then next we'll move on to probably my favorite in the Silverhawk line, which is Bluegrass. Now, unfortunately, I don't have Bluegrass's hat for this figure, but he does come with a cowboy hat, if you saw that in the packaging. And then he came with his bird Sideman here, which is actually a guitar that if you squeeze the head, the wings pop out. And then he could put Sideman on his back, like this. And if you squeezed his legs, you could launch him. So, pretty cool figure. I love Bluegrass. He was the same voice in the cartoon as I guess it was Larry Kinney's his name, that voiced Lino. So, very cool. And then we have Stargazer here. Stargazer was cool because he had a robotic eye. Let's see if I can get him close enough to the camera that you can see. You could actually look through his eye there, so it was like you were looking as him. So very cool. That's Stargazer. And then we had the one that everybody wanted when I was a kid that was extremely hard to find, and that is Copperkid. And Copperkid was cool. In the cartoon, we know that he didn't really talk. He had a weird sounding voice. He always took flying lessons from Bluegrass. His wings also pop out. And then he came with Mayday. And if you can see, it has a hole inside. It was actually a whistle that you could blow into, and it would make a high-pitched sound. So that is Copperkid and Mayday. And then we're going to look at a couple of the bad guys here. We'll look at Buzzsaw and his bird Shredder. Buzzsaw was kind of cool because he had this head that you could lift up, and when you pushed it, it would make the buzzsaws on his arms move. Very cool. And then he had his bird Shredder here. I'll take him off for just a second. And Shredder, you could push his head in, and his body would spin. I'm not sure quite what the point was, but kind of like a buzzsaw, I guess. he has a little buzzsaw around his back here. So that's Shredditor. And then we'll move on to the big bad guy. And that is Monstar. Monstar was actually transforming. You could squeeze his legs together and his chest would open. And then you could switch his head. So he could actually change. Squeeze his chest. And I believe this one's a little bit old, obviously. But I believe it would do it by itself. I kind of have to give this one a little help. There we go. And he flips around. And then he came with Shadow Bat. See if I can get the big guy to stand here. Shadow Bat was like Tallyhawk. He had a head that pushed out, and then when you pushed it in, he'd grab and hold on. So it was kind of cool. He wasn't a bird, he was a bat. And he just kind of hung on to Monstar's arm here. Like that. So anyways, Silverhawks from Kenner. I love this line. When I first started collecting toys, this is one of the ones that I wanted to do a lot of collecting on. They're great figures. They hold up well. You get them with a good paint job, and they display really well because they're very shiny. And big fans at My After School Toys. So check us out on our webpage, myafterschooltoys.com. We have tons and tons and tons of 80s toys. Almost everything you can think of you can check out there as far as action figures goes. And we will be back soon with another review. So thanks for watching.